I prefer to go with the alternative approach, which is just have another frame. It's like I've got the bends. I cannot, for the life of me, do things properly. Right, it's a new day. Well, evening actually, but it's throw, place gently, DMR decals on DMR Sidekick. So, first things first, the ink is now dry, as you can see there. It is quite smooth, so I don't think it requires any sanding. It looks better on camera, admittedly, than it does in the flesh. Now, the tricky thing about this, of course, is trying to get the decals placed exactly where they need to be. Now, under normal circumstances, you would obviously tape it up, mask it up, and you'd kind of set the range, I guess, which won't really work with this because I'm afraid it'll just peel off the ink as per what we saw here, where it actually brought down to bare metal. That was largely to do with the isopropyl alcohol, but still. So what I've done as an alternative, and I would highly recommend, is if you are going to apply graphics, original kind of replacement decals to a frame, and you need reference points, there's a number of ways you can go about it. Obviously, you can check photographs, you can take measurements yourself, you can probably do heaps of research. I prefer to go with the alternative approach, which is just have another frame. And so I've got this DMR Sidekick here. You can see it. It's particularly tatty. It makes the other one actually look quite nice. But this is the other DMR Sidekick. Now, I was being a bit of a cute hooer and thinking this was going to get me out of a hole. But as you can see, the new graphics are actually quite a bit longer, bigger than the old graphics. Let me say that again. These are the new graphics. These are the old graphics. And they don't really line up. But I don't think that's the end of the world. I think what it is just that this sidekick is from a very different era to that sidekick. So this sidekick, the really tatty one, can go away again. And up she goes. And don't fall down. And certainly don't hit my road bike. So I've got another visual reference material, which is the DMR Trail Star. There she is, hanging up there, and I have lined that up, and that's all fine. So can't use masking tape because it'll peel off the ink. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lightly actually put on cable ties, and that will set the boundaries, I think, and that will mean I kind of know where I'm going with this. So we'll get cracking. Right, so they're on, and then we can kind of suss. Ooh, not too far off actually, just straight out the gate. So there's obviously a little bit of overhang here, so I could probably move this one up ever so slightly, trying to obviously not let it grip in any way, shape, or form. I think that's probably not far off where it needs to be. So one of the reasons why I know that this sidekick is from a very different era to that sidekick up there is because this one has bottle cage mounts and that one does not. This one also has a front mech mount and that one does. Right, ignore me. But it doesn't have bottle cage mounts. So this is different. Now, this frame, if I remember correctly, throwing my mind back to the early 2000s, a DMR Sidekick is a 12-inch frame. A DMR Trail Star over there is a 14-inch frame. So we are working with a little bit less real estate, but I think we should be okay. So I am going to just ever so slightly amend this and then get working on applying it. I have a horrendous track record of applying things in any sort of straight manner. It's like I've got the bends. I cannot, for the life of me, do things properly when push comes to shove. So it'll probably end up something like this. But let's try to avoid it. That's what we'll set the bar as being, and if it's anything better than that, I'll be a happy man. There's a lot of decal. There's a lot of decal. Right, look, YOLO. Of course, normally you would sand down a frame, clean down a frame, yada yada yada. Think, man, think. What way are these peeling off? I'd be absolutely stunned if this comes off and wouldn't go. The D seems to only want to peel off in one direction. Like either I get the top of the D or the bottom of the D. And I just want the D.
What did he say?
Okay. Okay. Right, okay. So here we have it. And we're just going to try to do this in one. I'm just entirely blocking the camera. Mea culpa. Let's move you over here. There may be an element of you just kind of have to trust me on this. I mean, I don't trust me, but maybe you should. So I'm now going to like rub it and try to make sure that it's actually adhered. I've gotten it pretty close to the bottle cage bosses in a probably transpired to be a vain attempt to keep it straight. Oh, of course, I've got a dent in the frame as well. It's probably not helping matters. I think these decals are too big for this frame. It's so hard to tell what's going on underneath the clear backing because the clear backing has ripples in it. Okay, I appreciate the tripod angle is probably not ideal, but we are on. We have decals on, and now comes the gut-wrenching moment of trying to peel this clear backing off. I'm going to try to do it now. I don't want it to like set. I don't know what I'm doing, but all I know is there's $40 worth of decals on there that I'd rather not have to scrap and start over because, hey, I don't have any, and it took about 3 weeks for them to get here. So let's do it. I feel like I need really dramatic theme music for this. But let's go. Let's see. Okay. Now, the ADHD must be contained. I cannot go quickly at this. I have to take my time and do this properly. And I can see that the clear backing has in fact peeled some of the ink off. So the less of that we can achieve, the better. We're still in galloping horse wooden spotted territory. Oh, the decals have a bit of flex to them. Oh, okay. Every second I get carried away and start pulling faster on it, I end up whipping off what looks like a scab off your knee worth of ink. Okay, right, we are off on that one. So we need to do a bit of a salvage job on this end. You might be able to see here, we've just got a little bit of a ripple. We're definitely in a galloping horse wouldn't see it phase, but clean application, it is not. I will be clear coating over all of this, of course. So there is a degree of, well, bleep it. Okay, there we go. There's one side. I'm actually really happy that I went with the black. For posterity's sake, I was going to actually go with an orange decal at one point, and I just think that would be all too much. Let's flip it around and we'll do the other side. I'll rotate these boyos around. Not that they did a huge amount, but they provided a small degree of discipline. I am not above breaking out a hot glue gun. So that means the tip of the oar needs to go there, and then that means that will line up, which it appears like it will. So let's go through this hellscape again. I'm going to contort my body around a decal. Okay, so the tip of the oar has to go to there. we can basically use the M's to line it up. Because these decals have to be folded in order to fit in the post, there's a degree of, like, they get a little bit mangled. So we are on. That actually, second one came off way, way easier, and it seems like me going super slowly in an effort to not peel the ink off on the first graphic actually was largely pointless, because I went much faster on the second and it seemed to have absolutely zero effect on that. So this one's actually gone on really cleanly. I think it looks pretty sick. I don't feel like the camera is showing it that well. I think the lighting, I think once you get out in the cold light of day, not right now because it's pitch black, but it'll look much better. Now, the last graphic we have to put on, these two, I don't know what this is about, but they're going on the back window of a car. This has been eaten by cockroaches in the letterbox. The joys of living in Australia. We've got the top tube, so it's a pretty substantial piece of real estate up here. And this is definitely one that I want to get straight, because there's the propensity, by virtue of how long and, let's face it, kind of somewhat unforgiving a layout it is, that you definitely want this to be like absolutely nailed on. So this is a next protocol now. So I think first step is going to be to drop the frame right the way down, and I also want to get it, I think it's about as straight as it's going to be. I've got a new work stand on the way, much appreciated to Cam, Matt and Ben, who got it for me as an upcoming wedding present, which is extremely generous of them, and it'll go to great use. I think this is going to be our stuff. So I'm going to try and get you as symmetrical as possible to the frame. It's actually a little bit of a pity, because this section of it here was some of the area that I thought actually had come out the best. However, such is life. Bloody hell. There was me talking about no J's or lowercase i's. Ding. So we got a head and a body. My God, it goes almost the entire length of the frame. Trying to cast my mind back to the early 2000s, which isn't great because I can't cast my mind back to like what I did yesterday. But I think that this, did they used to have top tube routing? Let's consult the Trailstar. Yeah, it has it all right. Okay, well, I didn't know if this kind of went all the way up to the front or not. This Trailstar has considerably smaller graphics, but I think we just got to lay it down like this. So I'm going to stick you on time lapse again. So, as expected, I got carried away, and I thought, oh, the Sidekick one is going to be really easy because it's just a single one graphic, because it's got a lot of negative space in it. But then I remembered, yeah, but it's got all these bloody intricate little sections, or the inner part of an lowercase e. So it's the epitome in decal form of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. This was a terrible month to do a no beer cleanse type thing. Nerves absolutely racked. Okay, right. Okay, we have it. Okay, now is the moment for cool heads to prevail. Okay, we've got the center line down. Now we need to wrap this around. This feels like it's really, really off. We're off on this side. Oh my God. Okay, it looks so cool. It looks so good with the ink underneath it. For all the issues that the ink has posed in general, it's doing, appears to be doing exactly what I wanted in this regard. Okay, so I'm now kneeling behind a camera. How good does that look? It looks amazing. Right, let's get peeling gently. Right, I'm going to go bottoms up, and I have to be mindful of the fact that there are little bits of lettering that I do not want to just whip off, like the inside of an E or the dot of an I or anything like that. So just doing my due diligence with a piece of the off-cut paper to run it over to get it as stuck down and just assuredly adhered as possible, and make sure none of the little bits of lettering, etc., have any plans of making a break for it. The stress of this. Okay. So, this looks incredible, in my opinion. This is exactly what I was going for. I love this, like the swirling, the kind of weird kaleidoscopic effect. The black graphics, I'm really glad I went with that and didn't listen to kind of the invasive thoughts that said, nah, go really colorful, because I think that just looks absolutely sick. Now, I was going to do the clear coat tonight, but actually transpires it's a long weekend, which means I can do the clear coat Saturday morning, and then I can actually finish the build at a bit of a leisurely pace across the weekend, and then she's ready to go because we're going away the following weekend. So I hope you've enjoyed this kind of little small but critically important component of this build. I think it's really starting to tie the whole look together. So if you're into this sort of thing, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Do you think black graphics was the way to go? Do you like how the ink fills out the negative space of the graphics? I'm super pumped with it, but let me know what you think. And yeah, this weekend I will finish the build. All things going well, we've got all the parts, we should have no issues. Don't know why I just said that, just totally jinxed myself. And we are back in the room, and today we are applying this acrylic clear coat. So we have the over the top eye protection, we've got the dust mask, and of course we have the sacrificial Vans cap, and we are going to get stuck into it. So here is our DMR Sidekick, our workpiece for today. So you can see decals are all on, all looks lovely. Rear triangle does speak to when I just decided I'd had enough. But we are going to get the clear coat on. I'm going to give it a bit of a shake because it's quite cold. And that's why I'm also doing it inside, because it's quite windy. And I don't want this to get loads of dust and crap in it. So, covered up stuff. We've moved other bikes out of the firing line. And that will provide a degree of protection. And we're going to give this a bit of a go. And yeah, see how we get on.